everyone. Welcome to CBR Saga, CBR's one and only podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by The Raft Prison, where their motto is, "It's super secure," with only one major breakout. But that wasn't our fault. They're now offering free tours of the place where you can make Baron Zemo dance to any song of your choice. I mean, that's the only reason he's there, right? Anyways, enough with corporate sponsorship. Let's talk about Bucky Barnes, who, after the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, kind of got the short end of the stick, am I right? Like, Falcon got a name upgrade, but Bucky is still called the Winter Soldier, even though he's fully moved on. What gives? It begs the question, what exactly is next with Bucky Barnes? Well, that's what we're here to discuss. Today's episode will focus on the best place for Bucky in the MCU going forward. Will it be Black Panther 2, Captain America 4, something else? So many options. Let's get into it right now. I am joined by my co-host Nick. Nick, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited to talk. Bucky's one of my favorite characters in the MCU, so I'm excited for this.
Was he one of your favorites even before Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Absolutely. He was one of my favorites from the first Avenger. Just like the guy who sticks up for his friend who can't, like, fight for himself, and then the way he died. Bucky's awesome. Bucky's always been one of my favorites.
Wow, you are a true OG fan, and that's better than I can say about myself, because I'll admit Bucky in the MCU has always been... He's been okay. He's someone who I felt like a lot of the time he was the plot device for Captain America to do stuff, and I didn't really get the sense of the full scope of his character until Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where I just think he completely blew me away, and I realized, wow, Bucky Barnes is the real deal. I mean, he deserves to have more stories told with him, and I was kind of thinking, I think before Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was of the mindset of just like, maybe Bucky should die at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like before it started, right? I think that would have given his character the proper send-off that I think it needs, especially because I didn't know a place for Bucky to go in the future. But man, Nick, tell me how just absolutely wrong I was about that.
No, you're not wrong, because I do agree that in like Infinity War and Endgame, obviously there was so much to pack into those movies. There really wasn't a whole lot of time to give Bucky this sort of like any sort of arc, really. But before that, I think in the Captain America movies, and now in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think Bucky's probably got the most interesting arc of anyone. He's literally Steve Rogers without Steve Rogers being there anymore, only he was the evil Steve Rogers against his will. It's crazy. There's all this crazy stuff that mixes into Bucky's storyline that I think makes him a really interesting character. But I agree, there have been movies in the MCU that didn't fully utilize him or further his story.
So if we talk about what comes next for Bucky, I think, at least for me, one of the big things that I thought would be good for his character was Black Panther 2, because I thought his, when he was introduced as when T'Challa said the White Wolf, when he gave him the moniker of the White Wolf, that had massive implications, because the White Wolf is a different character in the comics, like with a completely different backstory. So the fact that the MCU was giving Bucky the moniker of White Wolf seemed like they had bigger plans for the character, and that's kind of my theory going into it, that like when they gave him the White Wolf moniker, they at that point the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show wasn't planned yet, and they were going down a different trajectory with the character. What do you think? Think there's any validity in that?
I think there is, and I think it's probably not too late. I do think that the character White Wolf from the comics needed some retconning, and the idea that Bucky became that, I thought it was perfect. I thought it was genius, and they sort of had this freedom to make the White Wolf whatever they really wanted it to be. They could make him like a protector of Wakanda. They could make him a part of the Dora Milaje. I thought would be cool. But you're right. They did sort of go back on that with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I don't think it's too late to have him, because Bucky's sort of lost at the end of. He's not lost, but like in the sense that the audience doesn't really know where he's going to go next. I do think he could still go back to Wakanda, take up that White Wolf moniker, and protect a country that he's grown to love, because obviously they gave him his life back.
I agree with you. I think that's actually the best thing to do for the character for kind of a few reasons. One, just because because Bucky needs a place to go, because him becoming the White Wolf and being the protector would be fascinating, and the fact that there is now going to be a power vacuum with Chadwick Boseman's death and presumably T'Challa's death as well. There's going to be kind of a gap there, and I think it's very fitting for Bucky to go back and to defend the place that made him whole. But then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier did something kind of weird with that. It's like they were pulling back on that moment because Io specifically tells them, it's like, don't come to Wakanda for a while. And I thought that was a missed opportunity because she easily could have said, hey, come back when you're ready, or come visit, or even like, we need you, or something like that. It's like they were halting the brakes on a potential Black Panther 2 appearance, which I thought was really strange. How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was very strange, but I also was thinking of the sort of outside implications in the sense that they were probably writing the show, they were probably writing storylines before they knew of Chadwick Boseman's unfortunate passing. So I sort of forgave the missed opportunity in that sense because I realized that the show writers probably didn't fully know what was happening. But you're right, like in the sense of a person who loves story, I agree. It does feel sort of like a missed opportunity in that Bucky is sort of lost in the world. He's been a soldier for America. He's been an agent for Russia. Like, where do you go next? I think being not the protector, but a protector of Wakanda would be a great next step. And I do agree they sort of missed the boat there, but I don't think it's too late to make it up.
Like, so you're saying like if Black Panther 2 is probably going to come before Captain America 4, if Black Panther 2 establishes right away that, yeah, Bucky is going to arrive at the very beginning of the movie in Wakanda, do you think that's the good way to go, or do you think they need a lead up in order to get him back to Wakanda first?
I don't think they need too much of a lead up. I don't think like right at the beginning it should be like Bucky being like, "Hey, I'm home." I think like a problem should arise, whatever the problem is, and whoever is like the lead of the movie, whether it be someone like W'Kabi, Okoye, Shuri, I think then they sort of realize they need to build up a team. So then they go and get like M'Baku, and then they realize, okay, let's go get the White Wolf to help us with this endeavor. And then at the end of Black Panther 2, Bucky is sort of, to whoever the new king or queen of Wakanda is, Bucky is sort of like, I am in your service.
Oh, okay. Actually, I do think that kind of fits because I think in my mind I was framing it as Bucky coming back and automatically being the protector, but I think that kind of robs Bucky of kind of the storyline that I think he needs first. Because if Black Panther 2, if the subplot is him being like, I kind of have I have no place to go right now. It's like I am fully resolved of my past. I think that's what Falcon and the Winter Soldier was about. Like his past is kind of clear now. Like he sleeps better at night, but now he's like, okay, well, what's next for my future? So if the whole subplot of Black Panther 2 is just like if they call on him to help, or if he's there because he needs, an upgrade on his arm or something, and like he's visiting or something like that, and then throughout it he's like, oh wait, I can actually do a lot of good here. This is where I actually belong. I think that's fantastic. I would love to see that.
Yeah, and not only that, but you got to remember, we haven't really explored the idea that Wakanda is stretching to the rest of the world yet. At the end of Black Panther, that was sort of the payoff, is Wakanda is now going to be trading with other countries, fighting with other countries, presumably, and that got interrupted with, an Infinity War. But I think Bucky would be a good person to sort of send out as like a soldier for Wakanda in other places.
Yeah, because I do think that that's a plot line that wasn't really fully explored, probably because the blip kind of happened. And as we get back on track to Wakanda opening its borders and being involved in these global conflicts, whether it's like Latveria or anywhere else in the world, I think Bucky could definitely be a part of that. So it's going to be hard to convince me that Bucky belongs anywhere but Black Panther 2. But I actually do think there are some other options as well, because as we kind of know, there is most likely going to be a Captain America 4. Which presumably, unless Steve Rogers, we're going to follow him in like the bingo room somewhere or anywhere else eating tapioca and jello, it's going to be Sam Wilson now because he is fully Captain America. Do you think Bucky belongs in Captain America 4 as a co-lead?
I certainly think he could. In the sense, Bucky is now Sam's wingman. In the same way that Sam was Steve's wingman and Riley was Sam's wingman. Like, the two of them formed such a close bond that I could definitely see them sticking together. But I don't necessarily know if that's what I want to see. I'd almost rather see someone like Torres become the Falcon and be Sam's help. And maybe Bucky even takes the Steve path. Maybe Bucky goes and tries and finds that life that Tony was telling Steve to get and that Bucky really never got.
I think that'd be cool. I think Bucky kind of deserves that because I agree with you. I think Captain America 4 should be Sam Wilson's story first and foremost, and put him front and center. Especially as you said with Torres, if Torres does become Falcon, I think that's a very interesting character path because then it's fully Sam moving from sidekick to main hero and then passing along his wisdom to another sidekick, right? Like to pass on his wisdom, and now he's the one in charge instead of being the sidekick. And I think that's the sort of juicy character drama that I love, and I think that would make sense for Captain America's next phase. It's just like, yes, he's established that he went through this whole process of becoming, yes, I am Captain America, but now I got to follow through on inspiring people because as he said in Falcon and Winter Soldier, like my superpower is that I believe people can do better. So now he has to follow through on that. He has to be the inspiration to heroes like Torres. And I think that's a much better dynamic because Sam and Bucky, I think, are on such equal levels that I think you miss out on what would make a Captain America movie very interesting. I think Bucky could certainly have an appearance. Maybe he shows up in a fun scene or a cameo because I think the MCU has gotten better at that of introducing one characters again for certain scenes and making it feel a little bit more connected. I just don't think he should be a co-lead for the movie.
I agree. That's not what I want to see. But if I did see that, I also probably wouldn't hate it. Like if it's just Sam and Bucky back together again, like on a mission. If they did do that, though, I would want to see Bucky have like a soldier's death. That sounds so morbid that I want to see Bucky die, but I want to see Bucky have a meaningful death, maybe sacrifice himself for Sam or for Sam's family. We saw him build sort of a relationship with Sam's sister. If they do decide to keep Bucky as like a fighting presence alongside Captain America, as much as I love his arc, there's not a whole lot of other places it can go if they choose to do that. So I would want to see Captain America 4 unfortunately be the death of Bucky.
So that's pretty interesting. So if he goes so we gotta hope he's in Black Panther 2 then, because Black Panther
Correct.
2, he sets up a long-standing thing. Captain America 4, Bucky needs to die.
Pretty much, yes.
I agree with that, just because I sometimes hate the fact that when characters die in order just to motivate other characters sometimes, but I actually think that could be really well done in Captain America 4, because Captain America 4, Sam Wilson, he's already been through a lot in order to get the mantle, but like maybe Captain America 4 is this thing of it's the stuff's gonna hit the fan again, where it's like he has to be challenged in a way where, yes, sometimes good people die. Because Sam he's had a past with PTSD drama, but all the Avengers around him hasn't lost them, and so to speak. So it's like if he's going to be Captain America, he has to know what it's like to lose someone super close to him. And if that's Bucky who sacrifices himself for the greater good, that could only inspire Sam to be better. So man, hearing that, I just really hope he's in Black Panther 2. So Captain America 4 is being developed, and we'll see what comes of that. But do you think before that was announced, there was more merit to a second season of Captain America and Winter Soldier? Because I thought that would be kind of cool, because they've talked about before how the title card in an earlier draft did change. Captain America and I think Bucky Barnes was what it originally read. And then they kind of changed that because they wanted the Captain America title to have more impact, which is kind of a poorly way to treat Bucky's character, but I kind of get it for the show that they were telling. But the fact, do you think a second season could be Captain America the Winter Soldier, and maybe another 6 episode is all fully on Bucky? Like Bucky is more of the lead than Sam Wilson for the second season, and it's him doing one last Winter Soldier type of break free, and then that show ends with Captain America and the White Wolf or something. And this time the dynamic is switched where Bucky is the main character, Sam is more the side character, and that leads into his Captain America 4 to be the main character, if any of that made sense.
It all made sense. However, I don't think I would want to see it. If there's one thing, no matter what they choose to do with Bucky, if there's one thing I don't want to see anymore, it's him having Winter Soldier relapses. Him like going back into that brainwashed mind. We saw it a little bit in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like in the bar scene when Sam was like, "Bro, are you good?" Like he sort of snapped back into that. I don't want to see him struggle with that anymore. I think we've seen him overcome it, and it would sort of make this show, like him overcoming that, feel a little cheapened if he fell back into that trap. That being said, I could definitely see a second season, call it like Cap and Bucky, and it's them on another mission. It ends with Bucky becoming the White Wolf. I certainly wouldn't be against that. I don't know if I would want Sam to be the second fiddle, so to speak.
That's fair.
But I'm sure there's a way they could do it. And they could make Bucky the second fiddle again and just give him a whole lot more story development and places to go and things like that than they did sort of in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay. I think that's pretty interesting. Do you think there's any other places that he could kind of show up? Do you think Bucky could be very versatile? Do you think there's other movies that he could make an appearance in, or even different TV shows? Like, do you think he could show up in Secret Invasion or even Armor Wars, or even, any other movies like that? Do you think I just don't know where else to put Bucky?
Oh, I just realized. So everything I said about him becoming the Winter Soldier again, I take it back. If they reveal he's a Skrull.
Oh. Man.
So I think I don't want him to have been a Skrull this whole time. That would make me sad. But if you sort of give Bucky the retirement that Steve got, so like he goes off and starts a life with Sam's sister, and then Secret Invasion happens, and Sam as Captain America is sort of leading, and Bucky shows up and starts fighting him. Sam thinking that Bucky has gone back into that Winter Soldier mindset. Which would make me roll my eyes until they reveal oh, Bucky's actually a Skrull. And that's sort of the kickoff. It's hard to find other places for Bucky. Bucky's had, in my mind, such a great arc throughout the MCU that if it ended now, I'd be totally happy with it. However, I do think there's other places it could go. It's just sort of hard for me to think about that.
I kind of like what you're saying about the Secret Invasion and Winter Soldier kind of fake out relapse, because I think that's what Secret Invasion should do, right? It should make you not trust your people. So it's like if Sam is fighting a Skrull version of Bucky Barnes and he's like, I don't want to believe that this is Winter Soldier. It can't be. Or is it? Is it going to make me doubt? Is this what I expected him to be all along? And then boom, he's a Skrull. That forces Sam to reevaluate. It's how much did I trust Bucky, and how much did I let my preconceptions of who Bucky really is get in the way? I think that'd be a very juicy character moment for both characters, really. So I guess I could see him in Secret Invasion. I guess he doesn't. But again, I guess there's not a lot of places to put Bucky. He's just an awesome character who probably deserves more screen time. I just don't know where, because I don't think he's. I love Bucky, but I don't think he's like Bucky Barnes the movie type of potential.
He's one of the best side characters in the MCU, in my opinion. I always thought that about Hawkeye. Hawkeye's a great side character. I would never want to see a Hawkeye movie. A Hawkeye show sounds really interesting to me, but I would never want to see a Hawkeye movie. Just like I wouldn't want to see a Bucky movie, even though I love that character so much. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe he could show up in an Armor Wars on the side of Rhodey. But that's the thing, is where Bucky is now, there's really nothing to do with him other than make him an assistant to the main character of whatever movie or show he's in. Which is why I'm starting to lean towards I'd almost prefer they give him an honorable death. Because I wouldn't want him to just become that sort of tool that people use, unless it's in Wakanda as the White Wolf, because that still sounds awesome.
Agreed. So we talked about it a lot, and I think what we keep coming back to is Bucky either should die or go to Wakanda and live a long life. So fingers crossed he definitely goes to Wakanda. But what do you guys think? Where should Bucky Barnes go next? Is his story done in the MCU, or is there still depth there? Are there still stories that need to be told? Let us know in the comments below and where you would put Bucky. So thank you all so much for watching CBR Saga, and we'll see you next time.